Adjectives are the handles of being. Nouns name the world. Adjectives let you get hold of the name and keep it from flying all over your mind like a pre-Socratic explanation of the cosmos. Air, for example, in Proust, can be gummy, flaked, squeezed, frayed, pressed, or percolated in Burke 1. Powdery, crumbling, embalmed, distilled, scattered, liquid, or volatilized in Book 2. Woven or brittle in Book 3. Congealed in Book 4. Melted, glazed, unctuous, elastic, fermenting, contracted, distended in Book 5. Solidified in Book 6. And there seems to be no air at all in Book 7. I can see very little value in this kind of information, but making such lists is some of the best fun you'll have once you enter the desert of after Proust. Hey everybody, thank you for watching Leaf by Leaf. Today I'm talking about a book that is really a pamphlet and sort of rivals the Rue Metaphrase, which is an essay for the shortest piece that I've covered on this channel. I'm talking about the Albertine Workout by the great Anne Carson. I'm so thankful that I started this channel. Some of you brought me in touch with some excellent writers, one of whom is Anne Carson. I reviewed Autobiography of Red a year or two ago on this channel, and ever since then, I've loved everything she has written. She can't fail. She's fail-proof. That is for sure confirmed in this little pamphlet. In fact, this is from New Directions, and it is part of a series that I didn't know about called Poetry Pamphlets. And this is number 13 in that series. It also includes Lawrence Ferlinghetti, H.D., Lydia Davis, Susan Howe, and others. However, I definitely wouldn't consider this a poem, though in some loose postmodern way, I suppose that is possible. It's more like a series of index card notes that Carson took while she was reading through Proust, specifically about Albertine. But it's also sort of an outline for what could have been a bigger book. It's also a sort of puzzling out or an attempt to solve or a deduction, such as a literary detective trying to solve the puzzle of Albertine. In fact, the title, the Albertine Workout can give you that sense of an exercise or of a puzzling out, a solving, a working out of a problem. But of course, those labels make it sound like it's a mess. It's just this unorganized and small little offering of the dregs of Carson's reading of Proust. But in fact, it is crafted, and it is a marriage of intelligence and wit that had me laughing out loud and just having those reading moments where you close your eyes for a moment to soak in the power of what just hit you, or what just hit your mind. It's comprised of 59 statements and 16 appendices. Nothing more and nothing less. There's lots of space on the page. The first page only has the first 4 statements, which I'll read in succession. So on the last one, the 4th one, you can get this sort of witty and pathetic mode from Carson. Number 1, Albertine, the name, is not a common name for a girl in France, although Albert is widespread for a boy, or rather Albert. Albertine's name occurs 2,363 times in Proust's novel, more than any other character. Albertine herself is present or mentioned on 807 pages of Proust's novel. And number 4, on a good 19% of these pages, she is asleep. And of course, it hits us as funny because we're getting these concrete facts, and then to just tell us, the percentage of which she's asleep is just good fun, while at the same time being informative. It's also setting up for more references to come. This is very accumulative. It's very accretive, and there are more references Carson's going to unpack around the act, the event, the significance of Albertine's sleeping. Her, meaning Albertine's, her bad taste in music, although several times remarked on, is not a problem. Once Albertine has been imprisoned by Marcel in his house, his feelings change. It was her freedom that first attracted him, the way the wind billowed in her garments. This attraction is now replaced by a feeling of ennui, boredom. She becomes, as he says, a heavy slave. And as Carson will go on to talk about in one of the appendices, that heavy slave label that Marcel gives Albertine really bothers her. And she'll sort of unpack that and then tell us, or rather apologize to us, that she meandered a bit. But that ennui, she says, this is predictable given Marcel's theory of desire, which equates possession of another person with erasure of the otherness of her mind, while at the same time positing otherness as what makes another person desirable. This is a conflict that we see again and again in the study of passion and desire versus fulfillment, the staving off of possessing or fulfilling desire keeps desire alive instead of stamping it out. Another thing that Carson is doing in this pamphlet is bolstering the transposition theory in Proust studies, which is that Albertine is actually a stand-in for his chauffeur, Alfred Agostinelli. But, she says, it is always tricky, the question whether to read an author's work in light of his life or not. That is a big, ages-old question. Once you zip through all of the 59 statements, and you'll probably want to read them all over again because they're just so much fun, and the way they're arranged on the page, such as that first page I read, so that the fourth one gets its full thrust and then nothing else on the page to take away from it. Then you move into the appendices and you really just get more of this absolute brilliance. For example, here's an appendix on the second paradox of Zeno, just a portion of it. You could also think of the whole novel, À la recherche du temps perdu, in your mind as one big stopped instant, since it takes Marcel the entire 3,000 pages of the story to get around to the point of beginning to write it. On the last page, he shoots his arrow, but he does Zeno one better. He shoots it backwards. I know I've been doing a lot of Proust stuff over the last year, but I just can't get enough, and I'm sort of working my way up to rereading À la recherche du temps perdu for the second time. I recommend Anne Carson's The Albertine Workout, this slim little pamphlet for not only Proust enthusiasts, but also students of literature and students of literary studies.